What's up? On Hermit26 here to give you part 3. Let's get right to it. I left off with John Morrison, or Team Morrison being Team Miz at Survivor Series 2009. Bourne and Morrison is all survivors, raising the prestige of both the Intercontinental and United States titles. So the next Raw, basically you have Legacy. You incorporate Evan Bourne kind of into the Legacy versus Kofi Kingston feud. You have DiBiase and Rhodes face Bourne and Kingston, kind of maybe Randy Orton ducking Kofi Kingston for one night. Basically says Kingston wants a tag team match with two members of Legacy that are here, and he's going to use Evan Bourne as his partner. So Kingston is definitely back as a face now, and Bourne is definitely as a face. But DiBiase gets a pin on Bourne after a Dream Street. Basically, just he gets Evan Bourne and pins him clean. Makes DiBiase look very strong. Makes Legacy look very good against their feud against Kofi Kingston. So the next night on Raw, I think you have two Raws in between Survivor Series and TLC, so just have a little match here. That really escalates, kind of. On the next Raw, DiBiase states that by pinning Bourne last week, he will start his own championship legacy by holding a title that his father never did. I believe he was an NWA United States champion. No, he wasn't even that. He was he never held, I don't think, a United States title. Ted DiBiase did. So Ted DiBiase Jr. wants to hold a title that his father never did in a United States championship. Bourne comes out, says that the United States title is his, and he will beat DiBiase in his match in their match at Tables, Ladders, and Chairs 2009. So at Tables, Ladders, and Chairs 2009, you'll have DiBiase beat Evan Bourne for the United States title after DiBiase does the Cobra clutch Russian leg sweep. Basically, I would have this United States title actually start the feud between DiBiase and Orton, because DiBiase and Orton still wants DiBiase and Rhodes to do all of his dirty work for him, but DiBiase says, I'm the United States champion, I have something more important to do than you, and that kind of creates tension within Legacy, and then somewhere down the road you have Orton turn on DiBiase, and Rhodes kind of plays tweener, doesn't know where to go for the time being, but then eventually does side with Orton, which I think would keep Cody Rhodes heel, which I think would be very good for Ted DiBiase's career. But then you can still tell Evan Bourne would be very, very over, because you have him go out there with two guys I think that are probably the most underrated in WWE, Ted DiBiase and Evan Bourne. Have them kind of elevate each other here. Even though Evan Bourne does lose the United States title, he looks good in defeat. So then, on the January 4th Raw, hosted by Bret Hart, he will beat Chavo Guerrero in a Royal Rumble qualifying match, putting him in the Royal Rumble match for the first time, just like in real life. But on the next Raw, you have him beat, you have him in the United States title rematch with Ted DiBiase for the United States title, and after help from Legacy, which DiBiase did not see, which he hasn't turned on them yet, DiBiase will beat Bourne. So basically, Evan Bourne hits like a shooting star press. Legacy takes the ref out while he's counting. Basically, DiBiase doesn't see it, but somehow Bourne didn't pin him, and he hits the Dream Street on Evan Bourne, pins him 1-2-3, keeps the United States title. And basically, you could have him have a transitional feud, get the United States title out of there once DiBiase and Orton are feuding. So, and maybe give it to the Miz, or maybe keep it in there to have a United States title match with DiBiase in it, which you'll see later. Actually, I would have him keep the United States title for the time being, even though I'd have Orton challenge Cena at Mania, but you'll get to that in a minute. Then in the Royal Rumble match, kind of have Evan Bourne go towards the main event. You have him enter at number 8. I think is low enough where he could go for a long time and last until past number 30. He lasts 41 minutes and is eliminated by HBK, getting 5th place. So basically, after Edge comes back, just like the real Royal Rumble match, the final five would be Bourne, Batista, Cena, Edge, and Shawn Michaels. Shawn Michaels somehow eliminates Evan Bourne, but Evan Bourne does look like a main eventer, and he can hang with the 4 of them. Then in February 2010, first Raw, you have Bourne versus Triple H in a Elimination Chamber qualifying match. You have Bourne go over Triple H clean. This probably actually wouldn't happen, but I can dream, can't I? And then so basically my Elimination Chamber would be John Cena as the champion, Kofi Kingston, Shawn Michaels, Evan Bourne, Randy Orton, Ted DiBiase. I would have DiBiase and Orton feuding by that time. So just try and follow along with me for my Elimination Chamber 2010 match for the WWE Championship. Randy Orton and Ted DiBiase start the match. Orton eliminates DiBiase somehow after a low blow and an RKO. So Bourne enters the match 3rd. Bourne and Orton wrestle for about 5 minutes alone until HBK enters the match 4th. While these three are in the ring, Bourne gets the pin on Orton, beating the top heel on Raw with a shooting star press, kind of elevating himself even more into the main event. Kofi Kingston enters the match 5th, with no eliminations are made until John Cena enters the match last and gets the pin on Kofi Kingston after an attitude adjustment. Bourne then gets the pin on Shawn Michaels, biggest win of his career, with a quick roll-up after reversing Sweet Chin Music. Then HBK kind of goes crazy again, and I think his crazy kind of thing would work as a heel very well. And you haven't seen Shawn Michaels heel for a very, very long time. So then he super kicks Bourne, and Cena then leaves the ring after creating chaos. Then after recovering from being super kicked, Cena and Bourne wrestle until Cena beats Bourne with an attitude adjustment. So basically Cena does retain the WWE Championship, and Bourne does have his first interaction with John Cena. So basically from now until WrestleMania, I will have set up a match between Evan Bourne and Shawn Michaels. The Raw after No Way Out, or Elimination Chamber. Bourne cuts a promo saying how he's really hurt from all the punishment he took at Elimination Chamber, and he says that he would probably be the WWE Champion right now heading into WrestleMania if it was not for Shawn Michaels, and he wants that. And he says, as bad as Shawn Michaels once at The Undertaker, I wanted him. Basically, HBK comes out the next week, and comes out and kind of cuts a heel promo. It plays heel, which I think is very good, saying he wants Undertaker so bad at WrestleMania 26, but since he doesn't have a title shot, he wants Evan Bourne, because little punks like everyone had to go and run his mouth, and basically you want to try and make your name off of me at the event where I made my name, WrestleMania. You got it, Evan Bourne. Me and you at WrestleMania. Basically, it confirms the match. The next week on Raw, Bourne beats Chris Masters in a match, their first ever match, kind of just a little match to make Evan Bourne look really strong. After the match, he comes out and officially accepts HBK's challenge for a match at WrestleMania 26, which leads to HBK coming out and saying that he's glad that Bourne accepted because he's going to hurt him. Then Bourne says something back like, well, why don't you try right now? Leads to them brawling and just have a really good brawl segment, have maybe the referees come out and try and stop it, just have all chaos break loose for a little while, which I think would actually elevate this feud very, very quickly into a big, big spotlight in WrestleMania. So the next week, Stone Cold Steve Austin actually is the guest host for this Raw that I have used. So guest host Stone Cold Steve Austin says that Shawn Michaels and Bourne will pick each other's opponents tonight. HBK picks Triple H to face Evan Bourne, and Bourne picks John Cena to face HBK. Bourne loses to Triple H after HBK interferes, and Triple H hits a pedigree, which is probably a little more realistic. And John Cena beats Shawn Michaels later in the night after Bourne stops Triple H from interfering, which draws HBK's attention. Then HBK gets caught in an attitude adjustment and gets pinned, making John Cena look very good going into WrestleMania in his match with Randy Orton. Where am I now? Basically, that just elevates the feud between Shawn Michaels and Evan Bourne even more. If you can't tell, Shawn Michaels, I've said, is heel, and Evan Bourne is definitely an over face, and my goal for this is trying to get Evan Bourne 100% over as a heel. So basically, the Raw before WrestleMania, you have an 8-man tag team match announced. The team of John Cena, Evan Bourne, Ted DiBiase Jr., and Sheamus, who is a face now, versus the team of Triple H, Shawn Michaels, Randy Orton, and Cody Rhodes. Basically, the 4 Raw WrestleMania matches I've set up are Cena versus Orton for the WWE Championship. I know with all the matches I created, John Cena was the lone man out, so I changed the DiBiase and Orton match to DiBiase and Rhodes because that match works, and have Cena face Orton. Even though you've seen that match, you really haven't seen it at a big stage like WrestleMania, so I think they would put on a good match usually if you just don't fuck up the finish. You have Bourne versus Shawn Michaels. You have Sheamus versus Triple H, but it's not really for anything. You just have it on the card because apparently it wants to happen. And then DiBiase versus Rhodes for the United States title. Basically just throw all the WrestleMania feuds in there together. You have Bourne pinning Rhodes, making Bourne look strong after a Dream Street from DiBiase, an attitude adjustment, and then a shooting star press. Basically setting up all the feuds for WrestleMania. Then actually at WrestleMania 26, Bourne beats Shawn Michaels in an epic match. I think this match would just be so epic. And then after the match, you have HBK and Bourne shake hands, solidifying Evan Bourne's place as 100% in the main event. This would be a huge achievement for Evan Bourne. I feel that this could set up a Cena versus Bourne match at SummerSlam down the road, SummerSlam 2010, with Bourne going over and Bourne winning the WWE Championship. So basically, here's my booking of Evan Bourne. I know I needed a little more time than I actually liked to put him in the main event, but he's a smaller guy, so you kind of need a little more time to do it. Here's my challenge. Here's my entry. Hope you guys liked it. See you guys later.